So we made it to base gym. This is Bas, the Australian strength coach. As I've already introed him, I'm not going to spend too much time with this. I just wanted to first of all talk through, Bas, what's your training session today? Talk us through it, start to finish.
I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit nervous because I was on my Instagram story and I told my audience that I've got to squat 330 kilograms for 3 reps. That's very heavy for me. I'm very scared to do that, but I am capable of doing it, but not on every day. So
what did you do last week?
Last week I did 300 for 6. The week before I did 320 for 3. So I go like
up 10k.
Yeah, so I pretty much, it's kind of like weekly undulating periodization. So next week I could potentially go 6s on 310. So it's like 3s, then 6s, then 3s, then 6s.
And just building each week.
Yeah, so it's lower reps and then I'll do a little bit of volume. So I'm only going to be coming back to my really low reps and really heavy weight maybe every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So this is a progression from 2 weeks ago. When we squatted together, I did 320 for a triple. So today is the improvement on that, 330 for a triple. I'm going to be honest with you, it may not go to plan.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because I'm scared.
Okay, but that's interesting though, because that's, you know, Bas is, like say, squats how many times a week? Once or twice?
It's getting, now that I've been training with you, it's closer to 2 times.
2 times a week, but he still will have 2 weeks in between a real testing heavy set. It's not session on session progress each time, okay? So always bear that in mind. Even the best will have a week down and then go up again, and then a week down and then go up again, consolidating. Plan for me today is to squat 210 for 4 reps, which is up 10k, I guess, on what I've done 2 weeks ago as well. So last week, Monday, I squatted 230. I didn't feel as good as I felt today, but Bas was just saying that was probably gonna be a harder session last week than it is going to be this week. So
but I think the good part of this session is you've got to do a couple of sets of it, right? So not just one set of 4. How many? 2 sets or more?
I'd like to do 4 4s.
Okay, well that's different to 1 set of 4. I'm not going to do 4 sets of 1. I'm doing 1 set and then I'm straight to my light stuff.
So when we're going through this session, we're going to let you guys watch the full session, warm up to end weights, but also obviously Bas squats low bar, and I've briefly explained it, Bas, but if you could maybe put your take on the benefits of low bar versus high bar and the differences really, because I only knew, like, I've only just been training with you now, what, like maybe 4 months, 3 or 4 months, so I'm starting to get an understanding of low bar squat, but it's definitely not an area of my expertise. So if you could maybe just hit the guys with like a little brief rundown of the low bar squat and the differences between high bar and low bar.
Okay, so to put it simply, high bar means it's higher up on your body. So high bar where Sonny has it sits up on his traps. Low bar where I have it is about 2 to 3 inches lower.
Yeah, so I said mid to upper back. So
yeah, so it sits on the rear delts. So that's 2 to 3 inches closer to your axis of rotation, which is the hips. So closer to the center of gravity, just physics. It allows you to lift a heavier load. So that's the biggest benefit for me as a powerlifter. That's the way that I'm going to squat in competition, because it allows me to shift the heaviest loads. Does it make you have...
So I was just about right there.
Yeah, does it make you have bigger legs? Not necessarily, because you've got bigger legs than mine. We've done that in a minute. Yeah. We've done that. That's the quad off before. Yeah, he's got bigger quads than mine, but I'll be lifting a heavier weight today because I'm using more of my body. And that's pretty much the next part. Apart from being closer to your center of mass, it's a more hip dominant movement. So there's more hip bend and less knee bend. Whereas yours, you'll see. How do you call your full depth squat?
Bollocks into socks.
So mine won't be going quite into my socks today. Most of my bend comes at the hips, so basically that's what I'm focusing on as well, is getting the crease of the hip below the top of the knee. That's how. And
that's a legal squat, isn't it? As long as you're breaking.
That's what they're looking for in powerlifting, amongst other things. But from the depth side of things, hip crease below the top of the knee. So it's not parallel. It's actually below parallel. We have to get to, but it's still not quite as deep as where you're going. But I still use your style of squatting, like high bar squats, and I'll probably do that today after my big heavy low bar comp style squats, and I'm also using knee wraps as well, which at the moment are giving me about an extra 40 kilograms on top of my squat.
I've never tried them, so I don't know what I would squat with perhaps, but that's a skill in itself.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just put them on and say, we'll get 40 kilos more today. You got to learn how to do it. And that took me, it's taken me years to learn how to do
the
that.
other day even you were saying like how like you just went, oh you had like light bulb moment that you weren't like pushing into them and that. But
Absolutely, that was me. So even though I knew how to use them, there's an aeroplane going over the top. Even though I knew how to use them, I stopped using them for about 3 or 4 months. So your body kind of forgets. So I came back and I was like, it's okay. But then it's like, this is what I haven't been doing. And so there is definitely a technique in it. So I'll be doing my main work with wraps, and then my supplementary work will be very similar to what you're doing actually, and probably similar weights as well.
And I'd say the other key thing I want to mention here as well, which I've completely forgot about what I was going to say. Not so much mobility needed for the low bar squat as there is for high bar
It's a different type of mobility. So I don't need any ankle mobility. So my knees don't pass far over my toes to hit full depth in a low bar squat. It's all hips going back. Whereas in a high bar squat, you need a little bit more ankle mobility.
Yeah, so more upright, which is going to carry over into the Olympic lifts, which is why generally you'll see weightlifters squat high bar versus them squatting low bar, because we need to sit upright in the bottom of a snatch or in a clean. If we put in the same position that you'll see back squat in terms of where his chest is pointing, if we were trying to do that when we're snatching, it's all going to go tits up, shoulders are going to go snapping off and stuff. So.
Attention. I got some things I want to mention. You listening? Fact check, yeah. Bro, shit is back in your tape deck, yeah. Don't wreck. Head banging in the Tesla, that's breakneck. On the road, fucking up, pretty fat women and fat checks, nigga. Last test, is it true that you ain't fucking with Taz? Yes. Turn up the bass, now go. I need the whole earth to hear my flow. Bitch act like you know. 1, 2, 3, we been here before. Damn how it gets so dark. Niggas act dumb when you get too smart. Getting high in the damn airport. Contact high for my damn escort. Sun, rain, don't come cheap, so I need change. Break the chains. Like a phoenix, I rise out of these flames. No more games. Beauty is pain, so I take aim. We ain't the same. You lame, I reign. Say what? I reign. Let's go. I reign. We ain't the same. You lame, I reign. No pressure. Just pleasure. This all the thanks I get. Need pressure. Rebirth, cut the tether. This all the thanks I get. Separation. Me and my ex still fucking, that's reparations. I think we need to make a whole new declaration. Make every cop killing come with a side of bacon. Nightmares of me trying to wake him. I wonder if King had that kind of patience. Allah, please follow my fragrance. Hate them, but I won't let evil pace into my heart like it's vacant. I feel love. Is it sadness that's raining? Spending time changing. Being on my caveman. Trying hard not to let the rage in. The sharks in the water, so we raging. In the same boat, let's go. Sun, rain. Don't come cheap, so I need change. Break the chains. Like a phoenix, I rise out of these flames. No more games. Beauty is pain, so I take aim. We ain't the same. You lame, I reign. Let's go. I reign. We ain't the same. We reign. No pressure. Just pleasure. This all the thanks I get. Need pressure. Rebirth, cut the tether. This all the thanks I get.
Swallow your pride, there's nowhere to hide. What would you decide when it's on the line? Would you do or die? Would you compromise? Or would you stand through the storm and roll with the tide? Would you be the one to fight or the one to hide? You can never touch the sky if you don't try to fly. Bumpy roads, but we stayed unshakable. Been through it all and we still unbreakable.
lead is probably the best way to explain that. Like, you know, after the first rep, I'll tell you what came through my mind.
Go on.
Should I stop?
Well, I saw a little like wobble of the bar on your back.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Especially after the second rep, and I was like, "Was he going to go for or not?"
Yeah.
But you're coming out fast, so.
I can't. I look at the video and it looks faster than what it felt. So I look at that and it's like, wow, that looks like nothing can go wrong, but a lot can go wrong. And actually, it wasn't even perfect. Underneath that, like you said, like in person, you can see a little bit of the bar wobble. With that much weight on my back, that little bit feels like a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, going through my head is, should I? Yeah. So, and anyway, I know what I need to do, and I know that if I just aim and like I'm aiming for that to go on my midfoot.
Yeah.
And I know it'll come up if that happens. Aim for the midfoot, hold my back tight and upright, and Jesus, take the wheel.
Rest of the day.
And you as well, my man. That was a good volume day for you.
Yeah, it wasn't even like one of those days when like I needed to get super
Ramped up.
Ramped up, like you said, it was homework.
Yeah.
210 is still getting back up there to like that's probably the best working
For sure.
sets of squats I've done.
Yeah.
It didn't take a shitload out of me. I walked fucking 15k yesterday, which is a lot.
Yeah.
You can't do it for a weightlifter.
For sure.
And it was only that last rep where I felt like I really needed to
But you know,
squeeze.
it's the psychology of it. It's always the last rep of the last set that's the
Yeah.
hardest for some reason.
Yeah.
I think we know that that's the last one, and you know, and we just don't. I think that if you had a fifth rep, you'd have done it.
Yeah.
On all sets, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. But yeah, sick
But
day,
you know,
brother.
yes. But do you know what? Like we were saying the other day, there's nothing better than leaving a session knowing you got more in the tank.
That's the best way. And then we save that for next week, or even as we said, the week after that.
Yeah.
So what's for you next week? We've got to do the reps on 230, but that's probably not next week. Maybe a week after that.
Week after that, I think
Triples on 220 at some point.
at some point, yeah.
And then
3 to 220 is probably gonna be the next big
That's
milestone.
a big day.
Before 240 attempt, 3 threes at 220, I think would be good.
Yes.
And then I'm ready to go for the 240.
And I think the 240 will fly just like the 230 did.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Sick.
buddy.
I want to wrap up, I guess, this squatting session now.
Yep.
This YouTube video. So, guys, if you've enjoyed watching Bass and I squat, you've got any questions that you want to ask us, things that you're interested in, then please do leave that in the comments. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. There's going to be loads more of these videos. Me and Bass have only just started, you know, working together, training together. We've still got so much that we want to teach you and give you guys an insight into my squatting style, my training style, and Bass's. Bass has got nearly how many years? How old are you now?
I'm 38.
He's 38. He's got over 10, 15 years more experience than I do in the game, so I want to show you guys as much of his knowledge as well as mine, because you know I've enjoyed learning from you, and every day we try.
And I've enjoyed learning from you. And something you talk about with the experience, like how many sessions a week were you doing at the highest level as a weightlifter?
9, yeah.
So it's like, when you add that up, you're doing 2 years in one of mine. So I don't know, I think you're cutting yourself a bit short when you're saying you're not as experienced, but that's the difference between weightlifting and powerlifting amongst so many different things. But we're both passionate about what we do, and we get a lot of energy from each other. So it's always sick training with your brother.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
Sun, rain,